I used to think I was just tired, waking up drained, my body heavy, my mind in a fog. My heart would race without reason, pounding in my chest, then up my throat. Sometimes I'd catch myself trying to breathe, but no matter how hard I inhaled, I couldn't fill my lungs. I told myself, this is just aging. After 50, this must be how life feels. But one day, it got scary. I was sitting at home, the air around me calm, but my chest tightened. I could feel the breath stuck halfway in, and that's when I realized I didn't know how to breathe. Cut 2. Black screen with white text. Breath is life, and how you breathe determines how you live. This is the story of how one man bedridden and forgotten by doctors rediscovered life itself, one breath at a time. His name is Yuri. At 47, his life stopped. A crippling hip condition left him unable to walk, trapped in bed for 3 years. Not 3 weeks, not 3 months, 3 years of pain, of feeling his body slip away. The prognosis? Grim. Doctors offered pills, surgeries, and shrugged shoulders. But Yuri wasn't done. With nothing to lose, he started researching, digging through medical studies, ancient traditions, and personal stories. He came across something shockingly simple yet universally powerful: breath. Not breathing like we do when we're rushing, panicked, or scrolling through our phones, but real breathing deep, conscious, restorative. He tried one thing: one full breath in, one slow breath out. That's it. No force, no gadgets, no guru, just breathing with attention, with patience. 1 month later, Yuri could sit up. 2 months, he stood. 6 months, he jogged. A year later, he was teaching others. What he discovered was profound. We don't grow old. We forget how to breathe. You see, breath is the only bodily function that's both automatic and controllable. Your heart beats on its own, you can't just slow it down by will. But your breath, that's the lever. Control the breath and you change everything. Blood pressure stabilizes. Stress hormones drop. Brain fog clears. Sleep improves. Energy returns. When we breathe fast and shallow like most adults do, we send danger signals to our nervous system. The body thinks, I'm under threat. Cortisol spikes, muscles tighten, and with time, disease creeps in. But when we breathe slowly and fully, we send a different message. I'm safe. I'm alive. I can heal. That's not poetry. That's neuroscience. But there's something else. Even if you learn how to breathe, there's an invisible enemy we all face right now, even as you watch this video. The air inside your home. Most of us live in sealed environments, windows closed, synthetic furniture, indoor toxins. Every day we inhale air filled with microscopic threats, off-gassing from plastic and glues, chemical cleaners, dust, city smog sneaking through cracks. Yuri once said, "We think we're breathing, but really we're inhaling fatigue." He shared the story of a man who worked from home through the winters and never cracked a window. He was always tired, had headaches, and struggled with sleep. 1 week in the forest changed everything. By day 3, his mind was sharp. His body felt light. When he returned, he set a timer to open windows every hour. That small habit changed his life. Yuri later developed a breathing technique to simulate the effects of mountain air, right from your living room. The biggest shift? Seeing breathing not as a reflex, but a ritual. In every long-living culture, Yuri studied from Tibetan monks to Japanese elders. He found one common thread: intentional breath. Not yoga, not diets, not cold showers or supplements, just breathing done with care. He said, 5 minutes of true breathing activates life inside your cells. Sound dramatic? Science backs it up. A 1 minute practice of diaphragmatic breathing can reduce your heart rate, oxygenate your blood, improve focus, reset your mood, and the best part, it's free. You don't need a trainer, a membership, or even space. Just a chair and a moment of presence. Breathing is not just a survival function, it's your inner compass. It tells your body how safe the world is. It sets the rhythm for your thoughts, your emotions, even your aging. And yet, most of us ignore it completely. Yuri started teaching his method to people of all ages. People who had given up hope. Some were suffering from chronic fatigue. Others battled anxiety, insomnia, high blood pressure. And they all had one thing in common. They weren't breathing right. He taught them to start simple. Just 6 minutes a day. 1 minute per technique. No strain, no struggle. Just breath, slow, deep, conscious. The first technique was full body breathing, starting from the belly, rising through the ribs, all the way to the collarbones, then slowly letting go. One cycle, then another. After 60 seconds, people would say, "It feels like I just came back into my body." The second was overcoming breath. Smooth, long inhales with subtle tension release in the shoulders, jaw, and chest. It was designed to soothe the nervous system, especially after a stressful day. The third was cooling breath, inhaling gently through a curled tongue or pursed lips, feeling a soft chill travel down the throat, perfect for those dealing with internal heat, headaches, or high blood pressure. The fourth was alternate nostril breathing, a practice borrowed from ancient yogic traditions, proven to balance the hemispheres of the brain, cleanse the sinuses, and sharpen attention. The fifth technique was activation breath, short, sharp exhales through the nose, like tapping the reset button on your inner energy. And finally, fast belly breathing, a light, rhythmic pumping from the diaphragm, flooding the body with oxygen and waking up the digestive and circulatory systems. Each 1 minute practice was like pushing a hidden lever in the body, and when practiced together, they formed a full reset. Physical, mental, emotional. But Yuri always reminded his students of one thing. Technique alone isn't enough. Breath must be paired with intention. You're not just filling your lungs. You're sending a message to every cell. Wake up, we're alive. As his method spread, people started sharing stories. A retired teacher who regained her energy. A former athlete who overcame panic attacks. A widower who finally began sleeping again after years of insomnia. The stories were different, but the transformation came from the same place. The breath. Still, many people resisted. They carried deep beliefs that quietly stole their vitality. The first belief, I already know how to breathe. But most of us don't. We breathe with the upper chest. In short, shallow bursts the same way we do when we're scared or stressed. It's survival breathing, not healing breathing. The second belief, deep breathing means holding your breath. In fact, holding the breath for too long without preparation can trigger anxiety or tension. Proper breathing is like a gentle wave, in, out, no rush, no force, like the ocean, not a pressure valve. The third belief, it's too late for me to change. Yuri once worked with a woman who began practicing at age 72. Within 2 months, her blood pressure stabilized, her anxiety eased, and for the first time in years, she said she felt peace. Not excitement, not energy, just peace, the kind that lets you fall asleep easily and wake up clear. Because your body remembers, it wants to heal, but it needs your help to begin. So where do you start? With one breath, 1 minute, one quiet moment in the morning or before bed. Sit, straighten your back, close your eyes if you like. Exhale through your nose until your lungs are empty. Then inhale from the belly, rising like a wave to your chest. Hold for just a second. Then release smooth and slow. Repeat. Do it not as a task, but as a gift. A woman once said, I started doing this for 3 minutes every night before sleep. And one day, I realized I hadn't needed my sleeping pills in over a week. The truth is, we usually start valuing our breath when it's almost gone, when panic rises, when illness comes, when age reminds us of what we've lost. But you don't have to wait. You can begin now, not with pressure or perfection, with presence. You see, breath is not just physical, it's emotional, mental, even spiritual. It's the bridge between body and mind, between chaos and clarity, between being lost in thought and simply being. In every culture where people live long, vibrant lives, breath is sacred. In Okinawa, elders begin their day with slow breathing and gratitude. In the Himalayas, monks train their lungs like muscles. In African villages, rhythmic breath is part of movement and dance. And in each of these places, people don't just live longer, they live lighter. Yuri knew this. That's why he didn't just teach techniques, he taught awareness. Because when you begin to notice your breath, you start noticing your life. How fast you speak, how tense you sit, how shallow you sleep, and most importantly, how much of your day is spent in survival mode. You can't heal while bracing for impact. But here's something powerful. Every deep breath is an act of self-trust, a signal to your nervous system that you're safe, a message to your cells that it's okay to repair, to rest, to feel. One man shared this. I used to start my mornings with 3 cups of coffee and a sense of panic. Then I tried breathing for 5 minutes before breakfast. The first time, I cried. I didn't know how exhausted I'd become until I finally let go. That's what healing breath does. It doesn't add, it unlocks. It peels away the layers of stress we didn't even know we were carrying. So the real question becomes, are you ready to breathe not just automatically, but intentionally? Start small. Let it be imperfect. Let it be yours. Because breath, like life, is not about control. It's about rhythm. If you've come this far, you might already feel something shifting. Maybe your shoulders dropped. Maybe your mind slowed. Maybe you took a deeper breath without even noticing. Good. That's where it begins. But Yuri's story doesn't end with healing himself or helping others one-on-one. He had a bigger dream, to reconnect people with the simplest medicine on earth. Free, available, powerful. He created free guides, shared recordings, traveled to places where people had no access to doctors and taught them to breathe. One woman from a remote village in Kazakhstan said, I thought pain was just part of being old. Then he taught me to breathe slowly every morning. 2 weeks later, I walked without pain for the first time in years. This is what breath can do. And still, so many of us wait for the right time, the right motivation, the right crisis. We treat health like something that must be earned through effort, sacrifice, money. But breath asks only one thing of you: to show up, to notice, to take in, and let go. Right now, millions of people are chasing energy, clarity, calm. They're trying pills, powders, apps, hacks, and yet the answer is literally under their nose. Breathing deeply, gently, daily is the original therapy. No side effects, no noise, just presence. And it doesn't matter how old you are, how out of shape, how skeptical. The body remembers, the lungs remember. You just have to give them space. A 79-year-old man once said, I've spent my whole life running from problems, from pain, from aging. Then I sat and breathed for 5 minutes a day. And for the first time, I felt like I had arrived. That's the power of the breath. It brings you back to now. To you. If this resonates with you, you already know what to do next. Take 1 minute. Inhale slowly. Exhale completely. Do it again. Not to fix, not to improve, but to remember what peace feels like. And once you remember even for a moment, peace becomes easier to find again. This is how change begins. Not with a breakthrough, not with a dramatic moment, but with a single breath taken on purpose. That's what Yuri always said. Don't chase transformation, create rhythm. The rest will follow. And he lived that rhythm. In his 60s, he hiked mountains. In his 70s, he trained groups half his age. In his 80s, he still led early morning breathing walks, just to remind people it's not too late. You're not too broken. You don't need to be fixed, just reconnected. Breath is that connection to your nervous system, to your sleep, to your digestion, your memory, your strength, but also to your choices, to your calm, to that quiet voice inside that says, I'm still here, I still matter. Science is only now catching up to what ancient wisdom always knew. Slow breathing activates the vagus nerve, switching off stress, inflammation, fear. It rebalances hormones, lowers blood pressure, increases oxygen to the brain. It literally rewires your brain for calm. And yet most people ignore it. Why? Because it feels too simple to matter. But that's the truth about most powerful things. They're simple, but not easy. Because simplicity demands presence, and presence is rare. So what can you do today? Yuri used to say, don't wait for a perfect moment. Create a breathing moment. Right now, wherever you are, put down your phone for 60 seconds. Close your eyes if you can. Sit tall. Breathe in through your nose slowly. Feel the breath move into your belly, then ribs, then chest. Pause gently. Now exhale, as if sighing out the weight of the day. Repeat 2 more times. And when you open your eyes, notice what's different. Maybe nothing changed around you, but something changed inside you. You just practice self-care at the deepest level. No products, no screens, no noise, just awareness. And if you do this once a day, then twice, then 5 times, you're not just surviving anymore. You're leading yourself back to balance. That's what Yuri believed. That the future of medicine isn't more complexity, it's more consciousness. And it starts not in a clinic, but in your breath. So let this be your beginning. Not a resolution, not a challenge. A return to stillness, to strength, to yourself. And if this video touched something in you, maybe just a quiet yes, then leave one word in the comments. Breathe. Because the more we remember the breath, the more we remember who we are beneath the stress, the rush, the noise. And if you haven't already, join this growing community of people who believe healing doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be real. We'll be here breathing with you, one moment at a time.